the facts get twisted and the lies stack tall, my red, white, and blue heart starts at answering the call. Question everything. Don't swallow the lies they try to sell. 'Cause sometimes logic fails and it drags this nation straight to hell. Conspiracy analysts digging for the truth they try to hide. We the people stand together with our hands on hearts and full of pride. This is my home, my blood, my heritage, my sacred ground. My country's not for sale, and we'll never back down.
What is up? What is up, everybody? How is everyone doing this morning? Good to see everybody gathering in the chat. And Golden, today is your day. I happened to see your comment as I was lurking a little bit before I hit go about what Barron said. And so I probably should have changed the thumbnail because the topic changed a little bit last minute. But that is what we are going to cover because I was afraid somebody may have missed it. And to date, I would say it is probably one of the craziest episodes that he's done yet, or at least the information. It was an absolute banger. And for the ones who've already seen it, I figure you're probably like me. And there was so much there that it's going to require a second time anyway, just to really grasp that was there. Really good. Kudos to Daisy, of course, and amazing work, amazing information, and things are not getting any better for the Fed sloppers. That's all I can say. It is getting crazy out there. So I don't know. We'll see. We're gonna check it out. We're gonna check it out. See if everybody in the chat agrees with me. So, and look, guys, I don't know what's up with YouTube. I'm sure y'all probably noticed it. If my words and my sound are not jiving, I'm sorry. If my if my video and my audio are not jiving, let me know and I will try to refresh once. But all day yesterday, everything I watched, no matter who it was, even Barron, Candace, there's something going on, it seems like, at YouTube. So I don't know. Just thought I'd throw that out there. If it looks funky and it starts bothering anybody, I will try to refresh and see if that fixes it. But I got a feeling it might not. So heads up on that. All right, let's see. We got Miss Debbie Smith in the house. Good to see you, Miss Debbie. Let's see. We got Cryptic in the house. Cryptic, I never saw your email. I was going to try to chase down a comment of yours and reply to it, but I figured I'd see you this morning. So, I never did. Yeah, I never did see an email. The real one pcast @gmail.com. How do words work? The real one pcast @gmail.com. Of course, it's going across the top here too. So anyway, and I did check my spam. So unless you sent it really late last night. All right, let's see. Who else we got? We got Captain in the house. What's up, Captain? Good to see you as always. Let's see who else we got. Come on now. Got Keza in the house. What's up, Keza? Always good to see you. Got guys in the house. Good to see you, guys. Got Gary. What's up, Gary? Good morning. Good morning. Sweet. Gary's a new member. Yep. Awesome. And hey, while I'm thinking about it, anybody who is not a member, I wish you would at least consider it. We had a really good members live this past time, or I thought it was. We're doing our members lives every every 2 weeks right now. I'd like to eventually start doing them every week. But yeah, I mean, look, you get the members' lives regardless of what tier you go with. I think the lowest one's $2.99 if I'm not mistaken, $2.99 or $3.99. So, we're talking about nowadays a candy bar, per month to have access. And to me, you know what? To me, it's more about a monthly way of supporting somebody that you do want to support, and then the member streams are just a way of saying thank you. I hate to look at it the other way, like I am providing you a service that you're paying for. That to me, I don't know, and that's why I marked all three tiers. You get members' lives. To me, the reason why I did the other tiers is for those that just do want to, support with a few more dollars. That's fine. But it's not necessarily dependent on, again, the services rendered. Everybody's going to get the members' lives. Everybody's really going to get everything. So, all right. Anyway, got that out of the way. Yeah, and I know lots of people were receiving members, and the ratio of people that go in there and set them to keep going is very low. I found. I think I went from like 135 down to now. I think we're somewhere around 70 something. So either way, it's all good. We'll get more and more in there. It's great. So let's see. Let me finish getting through these. I just happened to think about that. So, all right. Miss Susan, what is up, Miss Susan, the original hall monitor? Good to see you, Miss Susan. Hey, Adam, the queen is in the house. That's right, Miss Susan. All right, let's see if we got anybody else real quick, and we will get this party started. Oh, yeah, good morning, Golden Cat. I guess I was talking to you a minute ago. I guess I could have said, hey. What's up, Golden Cat? Always good to see you. Unreal Father, what is up? Unreal Father, good to see you here. Let's see. I think I'm getting close to the bottom now. Basic, what's up, Basic? Good to see you here. It's been a few days. Awesome seeing you here. Question, what's up, Question? Good to see you. Good to see you. He's our music man. Oh, sweet. You did get a notification, Cryptic. Good. That's good. At least you got a notification. That shit's aggravating. Brett Booth, what's up, buddy? All right, we'll talk to you here in a few minutes. You just be safe. Let's see. We got Miss Tamara back. What's up, Miss Tamara? How are you doing? Is that it? Is that it? I think I'm almost to the bottom. I don't want to miss anybody. Got Henderson. What's up, D. Henderson? What is up? What's up, buddy? Good to see you as always. And hey, did you go back and check out that members live, Henderson? Jax, good morning. Been a few days. Good to see you. I was starting to get worried about you. Good to see you. And yes, Christ is definitely king. Hey, Basic, thank you for the new membership. That is awesome. That is awesome. I promise we will have a big time on those members' lives. The last one, now you can go check it out. Go check out the Titanic one. We just did Monday. It's great. Having a cat fight going on. You're killing me, Smalls. Good to see you. Been a few days. Same with Lisa Marie. I thought we'd run y'all off. Good to see y'all this morning, both of you. Thank y'all for being here. All right. I think I finally, yep. Okay, the plane has landed. We'll try to say hey as we go, as I catch them coming in. But here we go. Without further ado, let us just get the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Baron Coleman.
Someone else that had access to a pair of great.
And just so you know, I know I kind of touched on it, but he literally just he demolished the Fed slop narrative. He demolished the case against Tyler. I feel like last night. This is some really good stuff, and there's going to be lots of coping going on. The coping for Andrew's been bad enough. Andrew Wilson, the debate, this one right here is probably going to cause some serious coping also. Just saying, we'll see. But yeah, here we go.
Converse shoes with white laces. Huh. Interesting. That's an old warrant. That's just new information.
By the way, he reminded me the Converse shoes. The last number I heard on that, and this actually came from, let's see. I think this came from Zuzu. I'm almost positive it came from Zuzu. If it didn't, I apologize if I mixed people up, but I'm pretty sure it came from Zuzu. There was a statistic, or there was a study done, I guess. I guess I could go back and read it, but I remember this, that there's like 75, hold on. It's like 75 million kids wearing the Converse. I don't know. I'll look that up here in just a second to confirm that I told y'all right.
We've gleaned after the preliminary hearing. Now, we now have what I think is a pretty wild search warrant. We have the search warrant of Tyler Robinson's mom's house and his dad's house. We've redacted the addresses. No private information here. But I want to roll through this because it actually provides some pretty wild detail about what was going on. Here's the affidavit for the search warrant. On the premises known as blank, that's the address, further described as the home is a single-family home located on whatever street. The home faces south, has gray stucco siding, 3-car garage, light gray doors, yada, yada. That's just a description of the house. All right.
Yeah, not
There's now certain
yet.
property or evidence described as a Smith & Wesson M&P pistol and holster.
Now, that's strange this whole time that never one single solitary person has mentioned the fact that they were looking for a pistol. And I don't know what to really think about that other than strange.
Well, did we know we were looking for a Smith & Wesson M&P pistol and holster this whole time? No, I did not. As well as anything related to the rifle used in the shooting, firearm components used to alter the rifle barrel, or other components, ammunition, specifically 30-06.
Sorry, guys. I thought that sounded awful weak. 750 million pairs of Converse. So, yeah. The fact that they identified the guy with the different clothes on as Tyler Robinson because he had on a pair of Converse Chuck Taylors is so far beyond ridiculous and asinine that it's just, God, I have no words.
Ammunition relevant to that involved in the shooting, gunsmithing or engraving tools related to the investigation. Then they got photographs of the home that they were looking for, trace evidence that they were looking for, any other clothing or biologic evidence, specific clothing item, a blue-colored hat, yet another blue-colored hat. So this is those things they're looking for. Sunglasses, a long-sleeve black shirt with a picture of American flag and an eagle printed on the shirt, dark-colored jeans, white gray shoes with white-colored laces.
Go back and watch it, Golden. Trust me, I'm not trying to take anything away from Barron, but we're going to go through the meat and taters of it, and then, yeah, go back and check it out because it is an awesome episode. And, yeah, of course, like I said, I never want to take anything away from Barron for sure, but it's pretty dense. So,
could there be a fourth pair at the parents' house? We'll find out at the bottom. Shoes appear to be consistent with Chuck Taylor Converse-style shoes. So I want to go over something here real quick. Let me pull this down. I've got to point this out because it's a little unusual in my opinion. Nearly all of these new search warrants we've discovered that we're going to look at tonight came from the same officer. And this isn't just any old patrol officer. This is an officer with a deep history of tracking perverts. Now, there's going to be more than one pervert story tonight. One of the stories is this officer. And I'm not claiming he's a pervert. I don't know if he's a pervert. I have no evidence he's a pervert, but how do you know someone's a pervert? Do you find out? But he tracks perverts. He works in the sensual crimes departments of the various law enforcement agencies. That's how he was brought up. That's his training. And if you go over...
It is a little weird, pull somebody off of that and stick them on a murder case. Oh, I'm sorry, Candace, I apologize. An aggravated murder case. Which I guess at that point he hadn't been officially charged with aggravated murder, but anyway.
The training section, his experience section here, you'll find out there's an unusual emphasis on this. Currently assigned to the Special Victims Unit for Utah County Sheriff's Office. During his first 3 years, he was assigned to the Law Enforcement Patrol Unit. He's investigated a number of crimes against young people, as well as undercover work within the Special Victims Unit, part of the FBI Little People Exploitation Task Force. Trained and certified as a drug recognition expert. So he goes through here and he just talks about I worked crimes against young people with an emphasis on internet pervert crimes. Task force.
And, we've said from the get-go that, or I have said from the get-go that I feel like there could possibly be an angle to that, like that there could possibly be an element, of that. How do you get somebody to willingly become a patsy? Yes, you can radicalize them. That is for sure one way, but so far, I have seen no evidence of Tyler Robinson being radicalized on anything. Could be wrong, but it's hard on one hand to say he's radicalized about a particular subject, but then on the other hand, you have testimony from the person that he lives with saying that he never even spoke of it, ever, never mentioned it. So the other thing that they like to use is certain leverages. The one that we're talking about right now is a very common one and also very effective one.
Officer with the FBI Young People Pervert Task Force. I mean, his whole thing is about this. SVU, perverts, little people, perverts, more pervert stuff. It's just a really weird guy to assign to this case where they're going and picking up computers and phones.
What up, Heather? Good to see you. Glad you made it.
And all this other kind of stuff. I just, I've long wondered if there's a pervert angle to this. I've long wondered that. But I can't say that because they assigned a pervert expert that we know there's a pervert angle. I can't say that.
What's up, Zuzu?
Then he goes over the fact that Charlie Kirk was at UVU. He reviewed the security camera footage. He sees the Chuck Taylor Converse-style shoes with gray shoes with white-colored laces. Oh, there are those again. He talks about him coming through the stairwell. He talks about him walking over the Losi Center. This is all pretty normal stuff we've all heard before. The engravings on the gun casing, the shell casings, the alleged shoe impression, DNA that should have been laid down, but for whatever reason wasn't able to be tracked. Now we get to some new information. I'm giving it to you in toto. Not trying to shade this case one way.
Absolutely, Jax. Even the worst of criminals have some morals. Certain of them do. Obviously, not all of them, but the majority, they have morals. They've got standards, and they don't generally fare well.
The other. On 9/11.
Besides, obviously, the embarrassment, and if you ever get out, depending on what it is you've been doing, having to register, having to live with that for the rest of your life, and then also, again, they don't generally fare very well. Good morning, Aunt B. Good to see you here.
2025. That's the day after Charlie Kirk went down. Sheriff Smith with the Utah County Sheriff's Office received a phone call at approximately 20:04 hours from Sheriff Brooksby. According to Sheriff Brooksby, he had received a call from a former deputy who had previously been employed with a sheriff's office. The former deputy, identified as Mike Mitchell.
Yeah, and that is not the sheriff's office. I know that, and I don't know what y'all think about this, but I do know that I have heard other people online saying that they believed that he was an ex-sheriff's, sheriff's deputy or whatever from that particular sheriff's office, but that is not the case. He was a sheriff's deputy at another sheriff's office somewhere, but not this one.
Mitchell explained that Mike Mitchell, he had received a phone call from the father of Tyler Robinson. Well, that's a familiar tale. We've heard that. Mitchell explained he'd received a phone call from already read that. Mitchell explained that Tyler Robinson confessed to his father that he was the shooter at Utah Valley University. Well, then why wasn't Mike Mitchell on the stand at the preliminary hearing?
Exactly. And everything that they used that came from Mike Mitchell, kind of backing Candace up, would have fallen under 1102 hearsay. That's just the way it is.
Why wasn't the father on the stand at the preliminary hearing? I've wavered on this Mike Mitchell cat. Sometimes I think he's a good guy. Sometimes I think he's a bad guy. When I read that, I thought, sounds like a bad guy. Because nowhere else do we get this story. You know, this has been percolating behind this investigation for the last year or so that Tyler confessed to his parents. But when you read the probable cause affidavit, when you read the charging documents, the affidavit in support of the charging document, we don't get that. We hear inferred, might have been, involved. We don't hear he told them he shot them. We've asked this question, where did this come from? Someone changed the story.
And I do feel like, obviously, I'm not trying to jump the gun, but I do feel like that that just kind of confirms what Candace was alluding to about a lot of that stuff coming from Mike Mitchell, specifically that the parents had, or the dad had confronted Tyler, and that Tyler had whatever it was indicated or implied or whatever the word was they used, but indicated that it was him that did that. So I feel like this right here kind of at least somewhat confirms that. So I don't know. We'll see.
Parents behind the scenes the night it happened. Ask again, who changed the story? Was it the bishop? You know, the parent called the bishop? Was it Mike Mitchell, the retired sheriff's deputy? The parents called Mike Mitchell, the retired sheriff's deputy? Was it the parents? I just got our answer. It sounds like it was Mike Mitchell who changed the story from Tyler told he might be involved to Tyler confessed. Tyler confessed. And the reason I don't believe the story is because if Tyler had confessed to his parents, you would have heard from them. I'm confident you would have heard from them.
Yep.
Mike Mitchell, there, we just read that. Tyler Robinson's parents worked with law enforcement to arrange a way for Tyler Robinson to turn himself in without a confrontation with law enforcement. Mitchell coordinated with law enforcement to have Tyler Robinson meet with law enforcement at the Washington County Sheriff's Office. Tyler Robinson arrived at the Washington County Sheriff's Office accompanied by approximately 26 hours. We've long disputed that on this program, but I'm just accepting it for the purpose of this. I'm not going to argue that point tonight. Tyler Robinson was not wearing clothing consistent with the clothing observed on surveillance cameras during and around the time of the incident at UVU. That's a little inconsistent because in the probable cause affidavit, they said he was, in fact, wearing clothing consistent with what was observed on surveillance cameras. Here they're saying he's not. But they go on to tell us what he was wearing. Tyler Robinson arrived at the Washington County Sheriff's Office wearing a dark-colored hat, a maroon-colored T-shirt, maroon officer, not burgundy, maroon.
Not burgundy, no.
Jeans, and white-gray-colored Converse-style shoes. No word on the color of the laces. Tyler Robinson's mother relayed to law enforcement that Robinson had expressed having suicidal ideations. Sergeant Elsholtz with the...
Again, this is secondhand, related to law enforcement that Tyler Robinson had expressed. So again, this is not a signed statement by Mrs. Robinson. This is secondhand. This was just supposedly something that was told to an officer.
Utah State Bureau of Investigation provided me with a photograph of Tyler Robinson's Utah driver license at approximately 0100 hours the next morning, 9/12. Friday morning. Special Agent Lang conducted an interview with the boyfriend of Tyler Robinson. Boyfriend was identified as Twiggs. During the interview, Lance showed investigators text messages between Tyler Robinson and himself. Guess what? We're going to get new information. We're going to get even more text messages than we already had. A little context. Stay tuned. The following is some of the content of those messages. First message, I'm still okay, my love. I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Second message.
That just kills me. I'm stuck in Orem a little while longer yet. Come on.
Tyler, shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I got to grab my rifle
Kathy?
still.
It's all good.
To be honest, I'd hope to keep this secret till I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you. Third message from Lance, you weren't the one who did it, right? Fourth message, I am. I'm sorry. Fifth message, Lance, I thought they caught the person. Sixth message, Tyler, no, they grabbed some.
Okay, so that's a confession, correct? I know this is one that is being counted as a confession. You're not the one who did it, right? I am. I'm sorry. Did what? An actual confession has to include what exactly you did. He could have misunderstood the question. I mean, just for the sake of argument.
Crazy old dude interrogated someone in similar clothing. Seventh message, Tyler, I planned to grab my rifle from the drop point shortly after. Now, most of this we've already seen. Side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's a vehicle lingering. Now we get into new stuff. And this is pretty fascinating new stuff. Further information between the messages showed that Robinson had an old room at his parents' house.
Exactly, Smalls. See, great minds think alike.
The following are messages from Lance to Robinson. First message, Lance, what do I do with all your stuff? It's a little weird that this guy's confessing to murder.
That is pretty effed up. You know what I mean? What am I going to do with your shit?
And the first thing you're doing is, how do I get all your stuff out of my house? I got to
either,
rent this room
Kathy.
out. I mean, come on. We're going on 36 hours after the big event. What are we waiting on? How do I get this stuff out? What do I do with it? Can we just throw it in the dumpster? Sounds like a real loving boyfriend. Not worried about his safety and security, not worried about his criminal liability, but very worried about how to get rid of all his stuff out of his house. Second message, leave the room alone. The feds will search it top to bottom for certain, then work with my family to sort it out, where that goes and such. How do I contact them? Fourth message, Tyler, my mom's number is, we've redacted. They live at, we've redacted. Keep my mom out of my wooden box for her sake. Ladies and gentlemen, he's got a wooden box. And we've got to know what's in the wooden box. We can imagine what's in the wooden box. I imagine what's in the wooden box. You are probably imagining something that's in the wooden box. You'll blush a little bit if you imagine it too hard. I can't imagine it's like a Bible and like a...
That's where all the furry costumes are kept. and the adjacent accessories to go along with the furry outfits.
Mary statue. No, keep my mom out of there. There's some holy candles in there. I was holding a vigil last night.
Yes, we're doing the Hades plane. Miss Debbie's been all over the plane thing, and I've just been trying to find time to squeeze that in. But actually, I'm going to. I think I'm going to cover Stu Peters and John Cullen, because they did a really, really good interview. And but yes, we're going to be talking about the Hades planes very, very soon, because that to me is just, there's something there.
Right. No, I don't think that's what's in the wooden box, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying. Sounds like a pervert to me. Might not be. No evidence. They didn't describe what was in the wooden box, thankfully. Although, if we're being honest, I'm a little curious. You are too. Stop it. Don't make fun of me. Fifth and sixth message. Lance, I will try. Is there any way you don't go to prison? Seventh message, Tyler. I highly doubt it. I will update you as much as I can. If you need a place to stay, I'm sure I'll just stay out of the wooden box. Actually, he probably didn't care if Lance gets in the wooden box. Now, this is where it gets really fun. If in fact, it can get more fun than the mysterious mystery.
That's so messed up. Hey, what do I do with your shit? And then he turns around and says, hey, you can stay in my old room, I'm sure.
Wooden box. It was found that Robinson's parents' address, located at blank, but a room. Parents made reference to a wooden box with some of Robinson's belongings that may be there. Through my training and experience, it's common to keep store belongings at their parents' homes. Yeah, keep in mind, he's a fur cop. That's like his specialty. He's probably seen a lot of wooden boxes. He's probably opened a lot of wooden boxes and gone, whoa, what's it? What is that? Did not expect to see that in the wooden box. But that's for another day. It's for another day. Another day. Special Agent Cox, probably the name you could put when you're talking about a wooden box, interviewed Robinson's father, Matthew Robinson, regarding his involvement in the case. Matthew reported to Robinson that Robinson had traveled to Matthew's home where he had confronted Robinson. In other words, Matthew, the father, confronted Tyler, the son. Robinson, the son, had admitted to his parents he had a pistol concealed on his person, but was not willing to give it to Matthew. Matthew told agents that when...
Now, I don't know what y'all think about that, but to me, that is very, very, very telling. Could it be that this pistol was to possibly facilitate his unaliving, as they say he was, talking about doing? Yes, that is a possibility. Or what if you knew that you were working with a bunch of assholes to take out Charlie Kirk on September the 10th, and that in the process of this, they had double-crossed you framed you, and you knew that you were supposed to be picked up by law enforcement and decided that was not the route you were going to take, that you'd been screwed over enough, and maybe possibly you needed some protection. Now, I know I just read a ton into that. None of that may be the case, but that was the first thing that popped in my mind. The fact that he was carrying and didn't even want to come off of it. I don't know. And it could have been for any other reason. We all know he didn't shoot Charlie with a pistol. But hey, I like to try to think of all scenarios and options. And to me, that just seems like one that could be.
Robinson was giving a mother a hug. He observed the concealed firearm and quickly pulled it away from Robinson's person. No word on whether or not Robinson's father had attended Victor Marx's seminar on how to disarm somebody. That's on YouTube if you don't believe me. The firearm is reported by Matthew to be a Smith & Wesson M&P 45 caliber handgun in a concealed carry holster. Matthew left the firearm on a chair in his gun room, which was described as a room where multiple gun safes and firearm materials were stored. An armory. Did anyone know the Robinson home had an armory in it? I was not aware. It's the first time hearing of it. A gun room? A whole room dedicated to guns? All right, we continue.
I don't know, Zuzu. That also was one of the first thoughts that popped into my mind. But then I thought about, well, if that's the case, then how did he get it back? And I don't know. It could be. That was definitely a thought that crossed my mind, but I'm just not sure how it would be.
Sorry, I had to pull the screen down to share my dismay. Matthew also reported that Robinson had moved throughout the home freely, but he was trying to make sure Robinson wasn't getting anything out of the gun room. He had gone into the bathroom, main living area, and kitchen, and also made mention of his old bedroom that was now converted to an exercise room. Matthew reported that Robinson had... How big is this house? They got a gun room, an exercise room? What was this, a mansion? Matthew reported that Robinson had belongings in the home that he would periodically retrieve from the home. Closet in the exercise room had clothing and other personal items belonging to Robinson. Matthew reported to agents that the rifle used in the shooting was a gift to Robinson from his grandpa that Matthew was storing for him in his home until January of 2025. Matthew gave the rifle...
Keza, I'm not sure what you mean by more. I do know that... I do know that if you purchase a membership on iPhone, an iPhone, it does cost more anyway because you have to pay Apple also. But regardless of that, it probably does cost more than the bottom tier. And I guess maybe I could change that if people aren't keeping them anyway. But I think right now the way it's set is when memberships are gifted, it's the medium tier, the middle tier, which is $1 more than the lower tier. So maybe I need to change that. That way the gifted ones are the lower tier.
To Robinson in January and told agents he believed he'd also given him some .30-06 ammunition for it. Investigators reported seeing ammunition throughout the area of the gun room. Investigators also observed ammo reloading equipment. I know, based on my training and experience, that a safe time to engrave on a bullet casing would be when there's no gunpowder or bullet in the casing. This could be done when reloading ammo. Matthew also reported Robinson's free to come over to the home and comes over weekly to visit and for dinners. Now, I think we now know, or we believe, that the ammunition used was not in fact reloaded ammo, but it was just kind of store-bought .30-06 ammo. Matthew Robinson.
Oops. Now, one thing I do want to say about this, he very well may be correct, but I could go in there and I could get you a box, and I know this probably doesn't help the cause. This probably doesn't help our cause. But it is about truth. So I just want to say this. I could go in there to my gun cabinet right now and I could grab you a box of reloaded ammo out that I have reloaded. And what it will be is it will be a box of ammo in a factory ammo box. I've got some plastic boxes, but for the most part, I'll do it just box at a time. I'll take spent shells, I'll reload it, and I'll stick them right back in the original box they came in. The other thing about that is doing it that way, that means all of the casings and by necessity, all of the head stamps, marked on the end of the casing, they will also match. And they will also match the box. So just because we got pictures of bullets in a factory ammo box with matching head stamps doesn't necessarily mean they're not reloaded. They could have very well been reloaded. I remember years ago when I qualified for my carry permit, one of the rules was no hand-loaded ammo. Well, a box of ammo for my 45 was like $50. I could reload a box for about $18. So what did I do? I took all factory, shells, cartridges, and I reloaded them, and I stuck them all back in the factory box and carried them with me, and there was never even a question asked. So I just wanted to say that it's no big deal. More than likely they were factory rounds, but it doesn't necessarily mean they are factory rounds. They could very easily still be reloaded.
Had given his son Tyler. I don't know where it came from. I don't know that anybody's reported where it came from. But I don't think it's alleged to be reloading equipment, but reloading ammunition, but I don't fault the officer for thinking that. It's kind of weird to etch sayings on a live round of ammunition. All right, last little piece here from the new information we've gleaned from this search warrant. This is wild, by the way. While executing a search warrant at Robinson's residence at Redacted, while searching the kitchen area, a blue backpack was located. We will come back to this blue backpack. You remember he had on a blue backpack at UVU when he was wearing the maroon getup.
And then he had a black backpack on later. And I've always wondered about the backpack deal. Why he changed backpacks.
The alleged Tyler Robinson. By the time the alleged Tyler Robinson's in his black getup, he has on a black backpack. Blue backpack morning, black backpack later. We'll find out what happened to that blue backpack. And
Okay, guys, I can't help myself. I have to do basic. Yeah, you're correct. That is hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. We are going to take a moment. We're going to take a break from our scheduled programming to look at something here. Okay, where is that at? I got to show you this real quick. I meant to have already shown this. This won't take but just a second. We'll get right back to where we were at. Should be right in here somewhere. Did I breeze past it? Hold, please. Oh, come on. Where did it go? I know I bookmarked that. Sorry, guys. Give me just one more second here. Okay. John Bray. That's who I want. See if I can find it on here. Whoop. There we go. Okay, guys. Check this out real quick.
Very energetic impact. Yeah. We're with.
You know what that is? That's a 50 caliber BMG bullet whizzing by.
Very energetic impact. Yeah.
Thought y'all might find that interesting. So somebody needs to make sure Andrew sees that. He's full of shit. I honestly have a hard time believing that he was a gunsmith for all these years, and definitely don't see him as being a professional. But that's my opinion. That's just allegedly only. So, you know, like I said, that right there. If a 50 caliber whizzing by will not even move two balloons laid there, and all those Jello, tops laying there on the table and the cards, a 30-06 bullet hitting him in the neck is not going to blow his shirt around like that. He sounded like such an idiot when he was telling all that.
Could this be the same blue backpack? I'll submit to you, it cannot be. I don't think. And if it is, there's some other way.
What's up,
if
Pam?
it is, it's an indication. If this is the same backpack he was wearing at the university, then he wasn't alone. I'll explain to you why I say that in a minute, but I need you to drill down and understand that.
What's up,
There's
Crystal?
the reason I'm saying this. That backpack could not be the blue backpack he was wearing if, in fact, it's the same blue backpack. I'll explain why in a minute. I don't want to get the story out of order here.
And
Let's
yes,
stick with the story right now.
absolutely.
A blue backpack was located
Krilla.
while searching the backpack. Investigators observed a pipe.
I think I said Crystal for some reason, and if I did, I apologize. But Krilla, yes, absolutely. I believe that. I believe that 100%.
It was approximately an inch in diameter. The pipe had PVC end caps with black tape wrapping around the PVC. There were also portholes in the PVC. Investigators also observed wires throughout the bag with the PVC pipe.
What's up, Ruth May? So what we are covering, and you definitely want to, whether you do it now and put it on a 1.5 speed or something, or do it later, you definitely want to back it up. But what we are reading are newly uncovered warrants that were executed for Tyler Robinson. There are several of them, and they were buried really deep, but they are definitely legitimate warrants. And so we're learning a lot of details based just off of things that they were looking for. And we're just getting started. So
They also observed small Raspberry Pi computer chips in the bag. These are commonly used to activate or set off explosive devices. The bag and surrounding area also had wire cutters, hammers, and other tools. Investigators also observed shell casings in Robinson's apartment that were both spent and unspent. One of the casings had been engraved with the writing "test shot," engraved similar to that of those located in and with the rifle used in the shooting of Charlie Kirk. And again, this again to be done.
absolutely, James. That is, yeah, exactly. And it yeah, I don't feel like they should be able to. I mean, I get maybe not telling all the truth, when you're interrogating somebody to try to learn something, but to just absolutely straight up lie and produce false evidence and things like that, to me, is just disgusting. And it's just a form of entrapment, which isn't legal. So it's kind of a double standard there, in my opinion. But I don't know. Have you been here before, James, or is this the first time? I can't remember if I've seen you here before. Sometimes it takes a couple times, but if this is your first time, welcome. And this is the best chat on the internet. I can promise you, everybody will make you feel super welcome. We've got a rule about anybody that shows up. If you show up once, we'll look for you and expect for you to be here every time, at least if possible. We do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 a.m. Central Time, and then we do Friday, 6 p.m. Central Time, and then Saturday and or Sunday, 6 p.m. Central Time. So if you have been here before, I apologize. If not, welcome, and make sure you're subscribed, and we got lots of good stuff coming up in the future. Clint Russell being one of them.
Done safely. It would have been done prior to reloading the ammunition to prevent accidental discharge. Daisy, on the run, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe this was at the condo. This was at Lance's condo.
What's up, Virgo?
There's a problem with this backpack. Obviously, they're trying to tell you there's essentially a pipe.
Come on, y'all six. Y'all get out there and whack them lights. Come on, pretend they're Shapiro's eyebrows.
Bomb or something that was components of a pipe bomb that were found in Lance Twiggs' Tyler Robinson confirmation. It was in the kitchen of the Lance.
Awesome, James. Welcome. Glad you ran across us. I can promise you'll not find a better group of people to hang out with here.
Twiggs, Tyler Robinson shared residence. It looks like the component of a pipe bomb. and it is a blue backpack. If that is the same blue backpack that was at UVU University, then someone else brought it back from UVU.
Me neither. At all. I think it's bullshit.
To the Twiggs Robinson residence. I'll explain why in just a second. I have one more piece I want to show you here, that they actually did grab a backpack. Now we know more detail about the backpack, but on the return, on the affidavit return, we have here a description of a backpack somewhere in here. There it is right there, backpack. It's the third line from the bottom. Third full line from the bottom. Stick with electronics, 3 notebooks, Dremel tool, iPad, backpack.
Notice that MacBook Air laptop, and I guess he'll probably address this, but we've been speculating the whole time that the messages could have very easily been sent by the boyfriend or anybody really that had access to his computer, especially if it happened to be, an Apple, a MacBook or something like that. Very easily could have been sending messages from his number. So to me, that right there just kind of enforces that whole theory.
MacBook Air laptop. Again, MacBook Air laptop. Now we know they could have had iMessage at the house, at the shared residence. You remember we talked about how could those messages have ended up on Tyler's phone? Well, anyone logged into iMessage on an Apple device can put those onto Tyler Robinson's phone.
Absolutely. I know this for a fact. I don't use I don't have an iPhone. I use Android, but everybody else in my house uses Apple. So yeah. And I used to. So I do know that's a fact.
But it's interesting to me that they have what I think they're telling us are bomb-making equipment. They have what looks like
what it seems to be
the components of a pipe bomb.
Did any of y'all see the Turkey Tom video months and months ago? It wasn't long after. I don't know where Republic or Adams Acre are. That's a good question. Do y'all remember though the Turkey Tom video that came out where he had supposedly had a friend or somebody had sent him all of this that was supposed to have and Barron said he gave off strong Fed vibes, not Turkey Tom, but the guy that was in the video and had sent the information. But anyway, I feel like he kind of did too. But regardless, the point still being, if you looked around that place, it was so messy. But when you looked at Lance's stuff, he had all these different drawings and with all these scribblings and strange, phrases and writings and and I think even then somebody had seen some type of electronics. I believe I'd have to go back and watch that again. Seemed like there was some type of electronics in there that people speculated could be for, making those kinds of things. Regardless though, seems to me just from the outside looking in that if either one of them had, the desire to make those types of devices, more than likely it would be Lance and not Tyler, allegedly, but we'll see, I guess.
There. I haven't heard anything about this. And this is the first time that anybody's mentioned that they had a PVC pipe with end caps and portholes drilled in it and Raspberry Pi cartridges. And if this is just like a one-off event, Tyler Robinson went rogue, the hell's up with the pipe bomb components? And were those Tyler Robinson's pipe bomb components? Wouldn't you want to take that backpack and fingerprint it and see were those Tyler Robinson's fingerprints? Were those Lance Twiggs' fingerprints? Was it someone else?
Seems to me that if they thought that was Tyler's and if they could have proved that it was Tyler's, he would have been also charged with that. And I could be wrong, but just to make sure that he got convicted and buried and stuck away. Because if nothing else, if for some reason the Charlie Kirk thing fell through, you'd always have that for backup. Pile that on too. So I have a feeling that they know those were not Tyler's. And of course, we all see so far, it appears allegedly that Lance is awfully protected.
I think we deserve some kind of a follow-up because if Lance Twiggs
is
the only set of
135?
fingerprints and only DNA on the pipe bomb components in the blue backpack that was recovered from the house, it might make sense to think he's a violent individual who has plans for chaos, at least building pipe bombs and maybe setting them off in public places. We don't know. Can't say for certain, but I think it's something that deserves a little follow-up if I'm Tyler Robinson's lawyers. Whatever became of the pipe bomb components? Now, we know, I keep hinting, and I'm going to tell you now why I keep hinting. We know that could not have been the same blue backpack if Tyler Robinson was a lone actor. I'll explain to you exactly why right now. We still don't know what was in his backpacks that were on his back. But here's how we know it could not be the same backpack.
The parking structure eventually?
He does, yes.
Okay. And during this visit, do you know where he goes after he leaves the parking structure?
Yes, we were able to track his movements on campus. He went to Chick-fil-A in the Sorensen building and purchased some food, sat and ate the food. Then, I'm sorry,
Where did he purchase the food from?
Chick-fil-A in the Sorensen Center.
And where is that in relation to the amphitheater or the courtyard?
It's kind of on the northeast side of the amphitheater. It would be on the upper back edge of the amphitheater, furthest away from where the tent was that Mr. Kirk was in.
Where does he go?
From there, he moves across campus, out across Campus Drive into a wooded area on what would be kind of the northeast side of Campus Drive.
Kez, I was just about to ask that. A lot of people have speculated, a Brit, and I don't know. I've heard a couple different things, but we have our Aussies in the chat, our awesome Aussies. So I was curious what y'all thought about that. If y'all think that's an Australian accent, or if it's more like a British accent, or what that is.
Then returns back onto campus. We noticed at this point that he's no longer carrying the backpack that he was originally wearing. He moves through the Gunther building.
So he left the blue backpack somewhere. Mm-hmm. He's no longer wearing the blue backpack. Mm-hmm. And then he comes back on campus with a black backpack. So I think it's kind of important to know whose blue backpack was that, whose fingerprints are on what appear to be bomb-making components, and is that the same blue backpack he was wearing that day? What if neither Twiggs nor Robinson's fingerprints and DNA are on the bomb-making equipment? Well, that raises an awfully weird suspicion, and that's going to raise all kinds of questions about whose other fingerprints could have been on these other contributing components. And 5 sets of fingerprints on this device, 6 on that, 3 on that, whatever the numbers were on the different towel and gun and screwdriver and all this stuff. We know there were many different DNA contributors and fingerprint contributors. We never got an answer of who those people were. And now we have other potentially dangerous material in the house, and we never hear of it again. Is it because it undercuts the lone wolf narrative? Is it because it undercuts the idea that Tyler Robinson is the psycho in the house and Lance Twiggs is like this schoolboy, choir boy sitting around like, I don't know, I slept till 1. Don't know what I was doing the rest of the day. Had no idea why I wasn't at work on a Wednesday when I work a normal blue-collar job. It's important. This is an important thing. We've been led to believe since the preliminary hearing that he left that blue backpack somewhere. He changed it out for a black backpack. Now we have a blue backpack showing back up at home. Interesting. Now let's go to...
And really, what would be the purpose of that? It's not just about, the backpack, trying to conceal the backpack and have it blend in with the clothes he's wearing. Yes, he does happen to be wearing a black backpack when he's wearing the black shirt. And of course, this is all assuming this is the same person, whatever. But so he's got a black backpack on when he's got the black Eagle shirt on. But when he's wearing the maroon shirt, he's wearing the blue backpack. So it's not, trying to conceal it and hide it somewhat. So that's curious to me why he would have 2 different backpacks. What would be in the 2? Why would you need different ones? Just, I don't know.
Another search warrant. This is a search warrant from the hospital.
Yeah, I didn't like him
Hospital.
either, Miss Tamara.
This is an interesting search warrant because of what it tells us they were getting and what we don't have that the search warrant says we should see. There's a piece of the public record that's being withheld from us. Somebody should try to find it. Mm-hmm. This is a search warrant for the premises known as Timpanogos Regional Hospital, further described as Timpanogos Regional Hospital, where Charlie Kirk's body is located. They don't like apostrophes, I've noticed in this. On the person described as Charlie Kirk, they want electronics belonging to Charlie Kirk, belongings on his person that went with him to the hospital, things like Rode microphones, necklaces, white Freedom shirt.
They sure didn't get that, it appears.
Jeans, underwear, socks, shoes, anything that was connected to Charlie Kirk. Where have we heard this before? That's right. I did an interview on Julian Dory's program with forensic science expert Joseph Scott Morgan, and he said he would want all of that. Well, apparently, the Utah County Sheriff's Office also wanted all of that. They requested to grant access to the deceased body, includes a search warrant of his person and belongings that went with him, grants access to the to photograph the body of Charlie Kirk and any belongings on his person or that he arrived with at the hospital. And then he goes through and says how he's a pervert. Not he himself is a pervert, but he investigates perverts. Permission is also requested to seize. Seize. Ladies and gentlemen, in the United States, seize means to take custody of, to hold possession of, to remove from your possession and transfer it to my possession, to seize and forensically analyze any electronic device belonging to Charlie Kirk, as well as any on his body or with his property that would have been transported with him to the hospital. Well, if you're going to do a forensic examination of all electronic devices that were on his person, that is a cell phone probably and a Rode microphone.
So we have not seen the Rode microphone on any of the lists of evidence. We know that Erica Kirk was given the necklace back. We haven't seen the shirt listed on any evidence list. Look, the cell phone. According to Erica Kirk, she's got his cell phone. So what happened? Was there a search warrant for it? And when they went to go execute that warrant, the feds stepped in and said, no, we'll take all this. And then they just either didn't take all those items or they let them have them back. It's really weird.
Where's the forensic examination of these? Where's the examination?
Yes, Ruth May, he is reading from a search warrant. That's what this whole show is this is several different search warrants that were just recently uncovered that we have not seen before. So yes, he is reading from a search warrant, and there are a couple different ones that he will be reading from. So yes, search warrants. That's what all this is going to be, is search warrants.
This says that they were intending to do this. They want to analyze it for threats or other relevant information that would lead to suspect identity. And now we come down here and we learn that, let's go to the return. Here we go. Photographs of the body of Charlie Kirk. All of the property taken by virtue of said warrant will be retained in my custody, subject to the order of this court or any other court in which the offense in respect to the property or things taken is triable. So he's saying, I'm going to take custody of this. George Carl, not George Carl, not the former basketball coach, Michael George Carl of the thing. They said in here somewhere that they were going to attach a list. I don't know where that is, but they said they were going to attach an inventory of what was taken, and then they didn't.
They didn't. Imagine that.
So we now have a little information about what was.
I wonder if that means that the items listed on the warrant to be taken were not actually taken, or were taken and then retaken by the feds. That's very interesting. You would think on an official document like that, a court document with a judge's signature on it, if it says that there's going to be a list attached, you would think there would be a list attached unless something went bad wrong. Just saying, I don't know. I'm no legal professional. Just my thoughts.
What was requested from the hospital? You know, we've all wondered, why did they hand the phone back to Erica? Well, apparently they went in intending to seize it and forensically examine it. Did they do that? Is that showing up on an exhibit list anywhere? Do we know the contents of it? I'm not saying you should publicize it, but is it available? Has the defense seen it? Would they be able to look and verify the text messages that Smoke Boy said he had received?
Ruth May. No, I don't know off the top of my head, but I will definitely go back and look at that and report back. That's pretty interesting. I'm not sure.
Or, Charlie Kirk had sent on September 9th about how he feared the left was going to kill him, and to hell with everybody else there. You better save my life. I'm the only one that matters. I'm Charlie Kirk. Did they get that message off his phone? We don't know. But we do know that that's not the only hospital for which they issued a search warrant. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, they also issued a search warrant for Utah Valley Hospital across town. Intermountain Health Utah Valley Hospital across town. What did they want at Utah Valley Hospital? Charlie Kirk wasn't there. Well, it gave them permission to access and seize any surveillance and video footage of the hospital.
What's up, Texas? So, when Candace Owens said that the footage was seized by the feds and everybody laughed at her and told her she was crazy and told her she was lying, oh, we were just a bunch of crazy conspiracy theorists saying that the video footage got pulled from the hospital. That's just dumb. Well, guess what? That search warrant right there says in black and white letters that the warrant included seizing, not just looking at, seizing all the footage from the hospital. Why? The crime had already been committed. Supposedly he was taken there, for life-saving measures, and that's it. So what could and would be on that footage that would be so important to a criminal investigation?
That would show the suspect arriving.
Or maybe it wasn't about that. Maybe it was about certain things that would have been seen that should not be seen because it goes against the official story. Allegedly. Just saying. My thoughts only.
Searching and leaving the area. So you remember there was this notion that somebody was going hospital to hospital searching for Charlie Kirk. He showed up at Utah Valley Hospital and they didn't know who it was. We listened to a lot of those.
James, I don't know if we'll ever know. And as far as I know, there's nothing in writing. Now, there could be, but everybody feels like that is the case. Whether it is or not, I don't know. I guess now we might find out about the motion to limine, but I do know that he was given use immunity for his testimony. So, but that's all that I actually know, that and all that I know that we can verify right now.
Radio recordings a few weeks ago. They didn't know who it was. And so they started frantically searching for people. At one time, they mistakenly identified a couple of different people as potential suspects. Like Zechariah Qureshi came up, and there was a lot of confusion. I don't think it was him. They didn't know who it was, but they knew a description of the vehicle he fled in.
Conspiracy theorists, good morning. Good to see you here. I don't know that I've seen you in here before. If I have, I'm sorry, but welcome in. People will make you feel very welcome here. This is the best chat on the internet. And that is very true. Hypothesis is not a conspiracy. If Charlie Kirk is alive, he's a very sick bastard. I agree. It would not, I think that whole theory is a way of coping for some people, but for me, it just doesn't work, because if it does, I no longer look at him the same, and I could not respect him, and it would be the worst thing ever. So I agree with you. And yeah, so I agree. We got a rule. If this is your first time, people that drop in the first time, we always expect to show up later, every other time if possible. So we will be looking for you again. Good place to hang out. Absolutely best chat ever on the internet. So.
And then while they're at Zechariah Qureshi's apartment, that vehicle rolls up and a guy in the FBI gets out. The Federal Bureau of Investigation gets out of that vehicle. And they're like, oh, what a mistake. What a weird thing. Well, what do we know was taking place at Utah Valley University Hospital, or Utah Valley Hospital? The suspect was seen at the hospital, possibly searching for Charlie Kirk, who was not there. Suspect has since fled in the area and is not in custody. And so they were able to access and seize surveillance and video footage. What else?
So that to me is still a big question. It is definitely, and it is, I mean, right there, it's corroborated. I mean, it's reinforced right there that there was definitely somebody going around to the hospitals asking for Charlie, the victim, Charlie Kirk. Well, we know they interviewed a few people, but everything came up a bust. They even interviewed Zachary Qureshi, which he's a little odd, and maybe there's a little more to that. But at the end of the day, as far as I know, they've not ever said who was going around from hospital to hospital looking for the victim. So that's not only an open question, but that's a big one. That one really needs to be answered. As far as I know, it hasn't been.
Might that show, though. Who else was at Utah Valley?
And yes, guys, hey, some caps are good, but let's try to do some all caps and some not. let's not do all caps. Okay, guys, please.
Hospital. If Charlie Kirk wasn't there, what might those video cameras show? Well, there was a purported transfer of patients from one hospital to another. Perhaps it would show that. Well, if the FBI
What's
has
up, Beck
seized
B?
that footage,
Good
they
to
won't have
see
it.
you finally.
But you know who else was there? A guy named George Zinn was at Utah Valley University Hospital. Where's the Zinn one? There it is. George Zinn was at Utah Valley University
It's
Hospital.
all good, guys.
That's where they took him. And we have the search warrant now for George Zinn. I'll show you that now. This is a pretty fascinating search warrant in what it says about his idea for that day. So they're looking for CSAM material, little people material.
Hey, Beck, or Beck B, did you catch me on, oh Lord, my mind just went blank. Rob Carter show the other morning? I did a little short segment on there. It was like very, very last minute. And so I wasn't able to really put that out there, let many people know, but, if not, you have to go back and check that. It was, last Friday.
Images, depictions, whether written or visual, of kitty stuff. And they go on and they have this long description of what all this stuff is. We blacked out a lot of it just because the description alone is gross. But as we scroll down here, we now get to the investigation. This is
Trina, it is a very good question. He really does appear to be smiling. Obviously, some people have argued that he's not smiling, but it sure does appear that he is. And when you combine that with the fact that none of them really looked truly distressed, and that none of them seemed to care at all for his physical condition or his health in any way, especially once they started transporting him to the vehicle. And of course, combined with, ignoring the first responders or the EMS guys, refusing to take their medical bags, everything. When you look at the whole thing, it is just, it makes it look even worse and more believable, honestly.
fascinating.
And why was that particular security person standing in the crowd looking at Charlie? The threat never comes from there, or at least generally speaking, it doesn't. The threat's going to come from elsewhere. So you would need to be facing away from Charlie. That whole thing with Rick Cutler doesn't make sense to me.
As they scan the area looking for the suspect, a 71-year-old male named George Zinn approached UVU police officers stating, "I shot him, shoot me." The male was quickly taken into custody.
Okay, Miss Ruth, and I'll go back and double check that. We were going to cover that this morning, but then this dropped and I had to decide, and I was like, I want to do Barron. So more than likely tomorrow morning we're going to cover Candace. So stay tuned. We'll definitely look at all that.
In a search incident to arrest showed that he did not have a firearm on his person. He was asked where the gun was, and George stated, "I'm not going to tell you where it is." The male again stated, "I shot him, now shoot me." The male was transported out of the area back to the UVU Police Department. As this was happening, officers were searching the immediate area around where George approached police in search of a firearm that did not exist. Pulling resources from the search for the actual shooter who had now escaped the area. Read this area in blue and think about the consequences of what this means. Think about the English language that he uses here. George was told at one point that his actions drew officers' attention to him and pulled resources away from finding the actual shooter. George responded by saying, "Well, good. That was my plan, to help him get away."
And we've already been told, I believe Candace is the one that broke that, but that she, somebody at the hospital, that he told somebody at the hospital that he was paid to do what he did. So guess what? Everybody's called her crazy, called us crazy, said we were lying, said she was lying. Guess what? Well, according to this official document here, this warrant, that's not so crazy after all.
Did you guys know that George Zinn admitted to being part of a conspiracy His plan was to help the shooter get away? You're telling me he thought of all that in like 1 second? He heard a bang and he thought, I need to help this shooter get away. Why would he want to help the shooter get away? He was a fan of Charlie Kirk. Why would he want to help the shooter get away? What good comes from that if you're George Zinn? And more importantly, why were we not told this? Why was no one told? Why was no one told that George Zinn said, that was my plan to help the shooter get away? Ladies and gentlemen, this changes the nature of the investigation.
Yeah.
We now have to ask the obvious question. Was there a plan? Was George Zinn part of it? We've long speculated it looked like he was. It's an anomaly that's yet to be answered to my satisfaction. I'm not convinced he wasn't. And after reading his statement, I now am convinced he was, in fact, part of a plan. A pre-plan where George Zinn would be stationed in the crowd at a convenient place in the middle. A loud bang would go off. Charlie Kirk would go down, and George Zinn would start waving his hat and say, I did it, shoot me. I shot him, now shoot me. And in doing so, he would help him get away, the real assailant. Think about everything that happened in those few minutes while they were messing around with George Zinn. Candace played a clip today of Terrell Farnsworth going and getting an SD card out of the camera. Well, that was just like 4 minutes after the shot, I think. Mm-hmm. They're out there messing with George Zinn. They're not securing a crime scene.
Nope.
They've got a 71-year-old man saying, I did it, shoot me. And you've got multiple cops responding to this guy. It was my plan to help him get away. Who's him? Who's him? The assailant, the team, the people who took down Charlie Kirk, the real assassins, or assassins. I think this statement, the fact that we've not heard this, that nobody's mentioned this, they love pulling these statements from Mike Mitchell, who said, oh, yeah, Charlie told his parents he did it. Trust me, bro.
Yeah, Kathy, it is, but
Trust.
I'm trying to stop Barron where it's not super unflattering. It is a shame that it takes podcasters to solve crimes anymore. But you know what else is a shame is that you've got assholes like Andrew Wilson that way back at the beginning was talking about this and was asked if we would ever get justice. And you know what he said? No, not from the FBI, not from law enforcement, that it will be the internet sleuths that solve this case. But then all of a sudden we have a change of heart where we used to talk all kinds of shit about Turning Point. Now all of a sudden it's the best thing since sliced bread. And we're all a bunch of idiot liars and conspiracy theorists for not believing the official narrative in law enforcement when he plainly said that it would be the internet that solved this.
Trust me. They love rubbing that in our faces. They've been telling us that for 11 months. He confessed to his parents. He
Great
confessed to his
minds
parents.
think
He confessed
alike.
to his parents. He confessed to his parents. Well, now we know who said that. It was Mike Mitchell. It wasn't at all his parents. It was Mike
Nope.
Mitchell. But while they're quoting from this same batch of search warrants, signed by the same child pervert cop, no one is talking about the fact that George Zinn admitted to being part of a plan. He had a plan to help the shooter get away. There's no innocent reading to this.
What's up, Andy Street? Good to see you here. Good morning. Good morning. This is a very welcoming group of people. Always good to see you here, and we will be looking for you again. Well, matter of fact, I'll be looking tomorrow morning.
There's no innocent reading to this. The guy was a Charlie Kirk fan. He showed up to watch Charlie Kirk. He was a Republican activist. There's a loud bang. Charlie Kirk goes down. Blood and gore everywhere. And George Zinn says, my plan was to help the assailant get away. You didn't come up with that in 1 second. I mean, it was literally like 1 to 3 seconds before he stands up and starts waving his hat, saying, I did it, shoot me.
How did he not? I mean, how did George Zinn know that the shooter wasn't standing over there near him somewhere? I mean, how the hell did he know that him causing the commotion like he did wouldn't draw them to possibly the direction that would help them, catch the quote unquote shooter? How did he know that? If this was all just some harebrained random thing that he did because he was crazy, how did he know that causing that distraction would actually help the shooter? I mean, in the heat of the moment, especially with you not knowing that this was going to happen, you couldn't be 100% sure where it came from. Obviously, nobody was. You've seen people look in different directions. So again, unless this was a plan, how would he know that him being where he was at and causing a commotion would even help the shooter?
We've long speculated. What earth could he have possibly wanted to do with that? Well, now we know. Now we know. Now, if you read the rest of the search warrant, the reason they're looking for all the pervert stuff is because George Zinn says, I have kitty stuff on my phone. Well, they were going to look at his phone anyway. Right? He had just confessed to being part of a plan. They're going to look at his phone. So whether he admitted it or not, they were going to find it. But the warrant was on September 15th. They found out he was a pervert that day. If you read the narrative, you find out it was that very day, September 10th, that they realized he was a pervert. And they scrolled through his phone and found some pervert material.
Yes, I would like to talk to Diligent at some point. And obviously, I know Muppet, who has been in contact with Diligent Denizen. And I also know, Uncle Tom. We DM back and forth. And he, as far as I know, is fairly close with Diligent. So, yeah, I've been thinking about that. I need to get something going there because I would love to talk to Diligent.
And it was gross. The way they described it was nasty. But they have that there. And so they go get the warrant later, and they go get the warrant for his phone, and they go get the warrant for the surveillance footage. Why? Well, what else might George Zinn have said? They took him to the hospital because he got roughed up a little bit in the melee. They took him to the hospital, to UVU Hospital, or Utah Valley Hospital, where they stole all the surveillance footage. Why? Was George Zinn still muttering about the plan? Was he still talking about his role? Was he
Probably.
He's alleged to have told someone at the hospital that he was paid to be part of this plan? Was he a patsy because he had this material on him? Because he was that kind of guy?
Probably.
We don't know the answers to any of those questions. We also didn't know he had confessed to being part of a plan. Now we do. So if you're going to tell me that Tyler Robinson's a lone wolf, that Tyler Robinson did this alone.
Yeah, guys, I really like Diligent. Yep. I'm kind of working on that in a roundabout way. I hadn't really directly hit anybody up yet, but yeah, I'm definitely trying to figure out how to make that happen.
You're going to have to explain to me why George Zinn thinks he was part of a plan. And his plan was to help the true assailant get away.
Absolutely, Ruth May. I mean, they acted like they knew there was nothing else coming. I can promise you in a true live fire situation, they would have acted a lot different. Now, this is all allegedly, just my opinion, just voicing my opinion while it's still legal for me to have one.
Now, let's go to another bit of data.
What's up,
because this
random
bit of data starts
member?
to give us an idea of where they believe the assailant fled in the immediate aftermath. This is pretty interesting stuff. This is going to be dense. Get your cap and gown on. Maybe get a pen and paper out. They sent a warrant to Google.
Oh, yeah, and Beck B, one of the dudes I believe that you are talking about is, oh, Lord, what's his name? I cannot ever remember that guy's name for some reason. And I don't know why. Hayden, Jesus, shit far. Hayden, I believe, is one of the ones that you're talking about. And actually, I am in the process of setting that up right now. So maybe this weekend, possibly, we'll have on Hayden and a couple other of the researchers that are in that group. Don't know for sure about Muppet, but I do know Amy is one of them, and there's one or two others. They're all in the same group. And yeah, we are working something out right now. So that should stay tuned for that. That should be really good. They have done so much work. They've contributed so much to all the big creators also. So definitely going to be a good one.
They sent a warrant to Google. This warrant was looking for Google accounts that reported a GPS, cellular, Wi-Fi, or Bluetooth sourced location history data generated from devices that reported a location within the geographic region bounded by the following coordinates and times. I'll translate this to English for everybody. You remember we were talking about the superfeed controversy because they were geofencing churches? They still are, I think. Geofencing churches. They geofenced the memorial service for Charlie Kirk, and they captured the phone data for 200.
Do we need to make? Do we need to? Do we need to add that to some merch? Shit far.
77,000 people. That's what this is.
Well, if you haven't heard that in a while, you don't live in Tennessee.
This is geofenced material. They want to go back and look at a particular geographic location. We'll show you these on a map in just a second. And in particular time.
Yeah, that was good stuff, Ruth May. I saw that. It's really, really interesting. Yeah, me and her talked, I don't know, a couple weeks ago about doing another collab. Me and ADN did one, I don't know, a couple months ago. Yeah, we were talking about doing another collab in the near future. Be nice if maybe I could get her on, and I can't remember that other girl's name, the one with the theory.
Say what devices reported location in these areas. And your phone is constantly reporting location. In fact, if you have an app open that uses location like Google Maps or anything else, you will find that it is constantly the little location arrows coming on. It's constantly feeding information back to Google servers, letting them know where you are. That might not be comforting, but that's...
Yeah, question. I think that she's on to something there, but I think there's still a lot of details got to be worked out because, well, I don't know. We'll talk about that another time. We'll stay on point here, but yeah, I'm not 100% sold on it, but it is super interesting. And I think she's on to something. I just think there's more to learn about it.
What's happening? So they have particular areas here. They've got these coordinates here. That's from 1145 to 12. I'll show you on a map shortly where that was, but just to give you a little time component of what we're talking about. This is
basic. I always say poor people in Kentucky are just confused. They're so close to the Mason-Dixon line. A lot of them don't know whether they're Yankees or rednecks. You still get a lot of pop and soda and stuff in Kentucky, but yet you get overalls and straw hats too. So, yeah, here in Tennessee, we don't really most people don't say pop or soda. We just say Coke. We want a Coke. There was a meme that floated around on Facebook for the longest about it. Like in Tennessee, you say you want a Coke, and then they ask you, okay, what kind of Coke? And then you say Dr. Pepper, Mountain Dew, whatever. So anyway, that's funny.
Charlie Kirk allegedly was shot at 12:23. So this would be before the event. And we'll show you where they believe the suspect may have been before the event. Then there was this area here, 12:15 to 12:30. That was during the event. So we will see where they believe the suspect was during the event. Have another one here, 12:15 to 12:35. Same thing. This is during and immediately after.
Sorry, Trina.
And 12:24 to 12:40. This is after the event. 12:24 to 12:40. This is again after the event. And they've given us particular areas
What's up,
here
dreaming?
where we can key in and get an idea of where they believe he was. So where do they believe he was at these particular times? Let me pull up our fancy map here that Daisy made. You're going to see how amazing this map is in mere moments. Check this out.
That's right.
And she even coded it in the order of the rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet.
That's
Not pride
right.
stuff. It's just a way to make it easy to follow. So if you zoom in on the map here, this is before the event. This is just by way of noticing, this is the house where Phil Lyman was at the time.
What's up, Matthew? Good to see you here. Good to see you here.
Notice it is conveniently excluded from this map. We don't see it as conveniently.
Yeah, this is crazy. When you're geofencing or whatever, when you're pulling these records from these different places, to me, it has to be intentional. If you do some stupid odd shape and just exclude a little part that makes sense to be in there, I'll let him talk about it. But yeah, this is bad.
Excluded from this map. It goes right in front of Phil Lyman's aunt's house or whoever that is, sister's house, whatever it is. But it's this area where he walked down this, or somebody in black walked down this area with a limp and then walked into this tunnel right here at the bottom. And that was between 11:45 and 12. Well, that makes sense. We saw that video footage. We've known that story the whole time. It makes sense that they would want to geofence that area off and look for Google apps that were pinging Google servers during this period of time. Now we go to orange. This is the Losi Center. These are the actual boundaries plotted out on a map that they gave us. Actual boundaries they gave us. They gave each corner, and she built a little map out of it. And so this second one, 12:15 to 12:30, this is the Losi Center roof. It's interesting they cut off at 12:30, though, and didn't cut it off at 12:44 when Officer Bagley went up there, because this leaves open 12:30 to 12:44, where they might have been able to ransack the Google server and figure out if anybody was on the roof after the alleged assailant hopped off the roof and before Officer Bagley showed up. This would have been a nice...
Hey, Ruth May, it's what she said. It's like WHT. She said on X, her profile is Okay, it's WT. She said 72. So yeah, what she said is the girl's handle.
30-minute window that they made a 15-minute window. But they didn't do that now, did they? I don't know why. I'm not drawing suspicion. This is 12:15 to 12:35. This batch of trees right here is the batch of trees where the rifle was recovered. Sort of the right-hand side of this. But these two bushes here at the parking lot right here, this is where the alleged assailant walked between these two bushes.
I think that's right question, except for the I. Here, I'm going to put it in here. Hold, please. There we go. That should be it, guys. If y'all are on X, want to look her up.
And then crossed the street, all within the yellow boundary here. And then allegedly went over here, and then allegedly made his way north to this street here. And then
I'll go look at that. I'll check that out, Beck B.
They don't know whether he went this way to the top right or this way to the top left. They don't know where he went at that time. So that's red, orange, yellow. Now we go to green. 12:24 to 12:40. So this is 1 minute after the Big Bang up to 17 minutes after the Big Bang. They believe they have evidence that he was in this box, and they want to know who was in this box pinging Google servers. Now, if you're walking down this road right here, this is the road he was seen walking down in the morning.
Yes, I have. Matter of fact, I've emailed him. I have tried to. I haven't heard anything back yet. Hopefully, he will reach out to me. I told him that his perspective is one of the most interesting ones, as somebody that started on one side and ended up on the other, trying to prove the conspiracy's wrong. Yeah, he's good. And I have, like I said, I emailed him. I haven't heard back yet, so I don't know. Hopefully I will. So
morning before the event, from one of these doorbell cams up here at the top of the box, he was seen walking down this road right here, actually right here in front of these two houses.
I'll do that, Ruth May.
They've covered that, so they believe he went back that same way. He left to go back that way. Interesting to me.
Oh, sweet. Beck B, did you have you got a reply back from him yet, or have you talked to him? That's awesome.
That we have Ring doorbell footage from Phil Lyman's aunt that he was in this area right here wandering around. And you remember I played that video last week for you where he was wandering around, or maybe Sunday, I don't remember what day it was, but I played it recently, where he's wandering around in this field on this dirt path, and there's the young man, and he's recording, and there's a woman with him, and they talk about he was there with the girl. It was the girl helping him. Notice they conveniently did not ask for that data. It would have been real easy to just get a bigger area on a couple of these, and they would have covered Phil Lyman's aunt's house, and they would have covered this area up here, this dirt path area where he was actually seen, someone looking awfully suspicious was seen on a Ring doorbell camera, and where neighbors have eyewitness identified that.
Good plan, Smalls. Yep. Go look him up. Go look him up and get in there in his comments. Drop my name, drop my email, all that good stuff. And yeah. Hey, Baby J, what is up? Good to see you this morning. Is this your first time here? I do not recognize the username. If you have been here before, I apologize. But this is the best chat on the internet. Ask anybody in here, and they will tell you that. So we've got a rule. If you show up for the first time, we expect you here every time after that, or at least, as much as possible. So we will be looking for you in the future. I'm going to go ahead and tell my schedule one more time while I've got this paused. It is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 a.m. Central, Friday, 6 p.m. Central, and then Saturday and or Sunday, 6 p.m. Central-ish. But yeah, good to have you here. Everybody will make you feel super welcome. And yeah, it's a great place to be, and we'll be looking for you back.
Somebody was back there that they believe was the assailant. But they conveniently didn't want that stuff. Why? I think because that woman thinks he met up with someone back there. And the data would reveal if someone else was back there. And then we go to the final one here. 12:24 to 12:40. This is an interesting one to me. Because we found what we believe was his car right here. On this road right here. We believe that is the Dodge Challenger belonging to Tyler Robinson, or being driven by Tyler Robinson. And if you roll down the street, you'll see this box covers this road. So if he was walking here in this green box and he was walking this blue box, to get to his car, he would take a left. And he would go right towards his car by 1240.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, now you're not, so we'll be looking for you back for sure.
Otherwise, why are they asking for this data? But on a warrant we're going to look at later, we're going to find that the information that led them to want this box, this little patch of earth right here, actually came from past this street. I don't know why I keep hitting the wrong button. Actually came from past this street. So instead of turning left on that road and walking to his vehicle, instead of walking through this green box, instead of walking through that green box, walking to the corner of this blue box and taking a left and going up the road here towards his vehicle, they actually use one of these three houses as a ping location because, and I believe it's because they picked him up on a Ring doorbell camera there. So the question is, why did he walk past his car? Why did he make the walk back to his car after the biggest assassination in 6 decades? Why did he make the walk longer than it had to be? I think that's telling. We'll look at that in just a second. I think it's the next one we're going to. It is the next one we're going to. So I want you guys to not get lost in all this data. I know there's a lot of dense material, but these are search warrants that they're asking for specific data, geofence location data from a specific patch of dirt, from a specific area of earth, and they have a reason to believe that he might have been in that specific patch. They're not just guessing. He was seen on Ring doorbell cameras. And on this next map, we're going to see precisely which cameras they spotted him on. We'll find that out in just a moment. So let's go to the next one here. This search warrant is a cell phone data dump. So what they're looking for here is, and this is a little complex as well, that last one was geofencing. This one's not geofencing as much as just these service providers, T-Mobile, AT&T, Cellco, Verizon, these different providers, they let you ping off their towers if you're in the area. And they figure out how to distribute the fees to each other, but they let you ping off their towers. And so they send this out and say, hey, if you have a tower covering this area, we want all of the information you have from these towers at this location at this particular time. So this gives us actually much more detailed location. For example, this is the type of stuff they want. Stored text message transaction data. Mm-hmm. Incoming and outgoing calls, meaning the number coming in and the number receiving the call, or the number going out and the number receiving the call. Calls originating or terminating numbers involving both phone numbers. Information shall include.
What's up, Charlotte? Good to see you there. Charlie's Angels in the house. Well, how are you doing? Yes. Oh, you had to evacuate due to flood. Whoa. No good. No good. Yeah. Hey, just whenever you can. No pressure. I figured I'd give you a holler. I hadn't heard from you in a while, and I guess I see why. Prayers, Charlie's Angels, Miss Charlotte. Hopefully everybody's okay and you can get back to as close to normal as possible soon.
Include telephone numbers dialed, incoming telephone numbers, date, time, duration of the call, registration, connection records, IMSI and IMEI of the number associated. So that's like device identification. Cell tower information. Where's the tower located? How long was the call? Beginning and last second of each call. Associated eNode ID, cell ID, Gnode ID, cell ID, location area, all this stuff. They want all this information from these particular areas. And they give you a point. I want everything that provided service to that point right there at these times. So between 1140 and 1255, I want this point. This number 2 here, this location number 2 right here.
Absolutely, baby Jay. John is John's my boy. I tell you what, I really like him. And look, that's not why I, lean towards his theory. But we have become pretty good friends in the process of all this. So John has committed to once a month. If you like John, look, just scroll back just a little ways and you'll find me and John on here live. And if you'll keep scrolling back, you'll find 3 or 4 others. But yes, so far, John has been the most compelling. There are some other theories out there that are kind of compelling, and maybe, different aspects of different ones, might be, look, no, I'm not married to anything in particular, and I'm not saying that John's is 100% from start to finish, but yes, at the end of the day, right now, I'm still leaning towards that. That being said, he is, like I said, he's committed to once a month. And so we will be having him back in the next week or two. And while I'm talking about that, I'm also going to brag that here in the future, it'll be a few months. He's got a lot going on, but got Clint Russell coming on. Clint Russell has agreed to do a show with us. So, yeah, make sure you're subscribed, notifications, all that good stuff. This is going to be a good place to be.
Location number 2, I can make it a little bigger. Hours provided.
Oh, and yes, the other thing I was going to say there, Baby J. So Stu Peters and Cullen did a really good interview on Rumble and Kick. And so I like to cover Stu Peters when I can, mainly, well, not mainly, but one big reason is because he's not allowed on YouTube. So a lot of people on YouTube don't even, don't get to hear from him. So we are definitely going to cover that conversation. It is about the Hades twins. And yeah, very, very interesting, very, very compelling. And we will be going over that in the next day or two.
Added to the service at this point, and we plotted these out on a map for you. You don't have to pull out your Google Earth and try to find it. I'll show you in a second. On this date for these hours, 12:10 to 12:40. These are all September 10th. Location 3, cell towers that provided service to this particular point for a period of 12:20 to 12:55. It's location 4 that's new. This is not information we had before today. Location number 4 is the cell phone towers that provided service to this particular geolocation, 1 point, for the time period of September 8th, from 8:10 p.m. to 8:25 p.m. Now, I will show you these points on a map, but I want you to key in on that. September 8th, Charlie Kirk died on September 10th. Lance Twiggs and Tyler Robinson were questioned.
I thought that was pretty interesting. September the 8th, when this happened on the night, on the 10th. Yes, and Ruth May, that is very interesting, and I have thought about that. We may have to wait until we get to trial to get some more detail on that. But yes, I agree with the carotid, with the carotid, the carotid artery. But with the carotid artery, yes, you should have seen that. My only other thought on that is if John Bray's theory is correct, the battery could have really severed the jugular and maybe just nicked the carotid a little bit, not enough for but I don't know. We don't have specifics like that I know of. So that is one thought I have had on that. And I started thinking a lot about that since they were saying that the carotid was damaged. I guess it all depends on how much damage was done to the carotid. So
On the 11th and the 12th. Why do we need September 8th? That's a little weird, right? Why would we need that? Well, I'll show you why, and you'll understand why I want to know where Tyler Robinson was on September 8th. So let's go to this location map, and we'll show you where these locations are located. And again,
Cryptic, I didn't realize that. That's cool. Hey, you need to keep on her about me now. She agreed to do a show, and we about had the details worked out, and then it didn't work out. That she had something else she had to do. So keep her reminded. So maybe we can get something worked out ASAP. I'd love to have her on. She is really, really doing good work. So yeah, stay on her, Cryptic.
if they want to know cell service providing to this location, they mean they have a reason to believe he was right there. Not down the road, not across the street, there, right there in that spot. So let's look at location 1. Let's go to location 1. We have reason to
Awesome,
believe
Baby J. Thank
that
you.
Tyler
It's
Robinson
just good to have you
was,
here.
in fact, right here. And I'll tell you why we have reason to believe that. I'm not going to show you the video footage, but you've seen it. You've seen the video footage of Tyler Robinson walking down the street with a limp, or the alleged Tyler Robinson walking down the street with a limp, this side of the road right here. He was on this sidewalk right here. I'll go back to the way it looked on September 10th, so you'll see the lines on the road and the cars that were parked out there. He's walking down this sidewalk right here, and he's captured from a cell phone footage in this house right here. We've seen that cell phone footage. I mean, that camera phone footage.
The camera footage.
That is Ring doorbell footage that captured him. We can see these flowers in the foreground. We can see these cars in the background. And we can see this fence in the background. And we can see this house in the background. We know Tyler Robinson was right here,
For
captured
sure.
on this camera.
Without doubt.
Right here at this house. That's why they want that data. They want that data from that location because that's where he was.
Yes.
Okay?
generally they don't just randomly pick places. They have to have a reason to believe that he was at that location.
What about location number 2? Location number 2 is over here.
Yeah, you could be
This is the
right on
Losi
that,
Center.
Baby J.
We know that they want to know who was on the Losi Center, and was it Tyler Robinson? So they have a request out to the towers, all the different providers that provide service, cell phone service to this area, for the Losi Center roof. That's location number 2. And that covers 12:10 to 12:40 p.m. on September 10th. That is when it happened. That's when the Big Bang occurred. And so if there was a cell phone on that roof,
It's probably similar, Baby J, but no, that's a Middle Tennessee accent that I'm laying on thick.
you're going to get this information. If it made a phone call, if it made a text, you're going to get that as well.
What's
They
up,
want to know
KTB?
who was on that roof and if it was, in fact, Tyler Robinson. That's September 10th. So now let's go to location number 3. This is where it gets a little interesting. This is the pinpoint of location number 3. If you look on a street view, you can see there's a Ring camera on this house, which means they probably picked up Tyler Robinson at this location right here between 12:20 and 12:55, or someone they believe is Tyler Robinson or they believe is the assailant at this location right here. Again, here's the problem with that. Look at the university. It's down here.
Absolutely, James.
We come up to the green arrow and it's right here. But if we come up this road between the university and the green arrow, we see what appears to be Tyler Robinson's car, what we believe is Tyler Robinson's car. So this pin right here would lead you to believe Tyler Robinson actually walked past his car between 12:20 and 12:55 p.m.
Why would he do that?
Why?
Why?
And keep in mind, it's a very tight timeline we're working with here. It's a very tight timeline we're working with, because at 12:43, he shows up, or 12:45, he shows up in a parking lot on the other side of town. So he didn't have time to dither, right? At 12:29, you have the guy dressed in black running behind Phil Lyman's aunt's house. That's totally left out of all of this search warrant information. They didn't ask for a cell phone location from that street. They didn't ask for geolocation information from that part of the street where that guy was spotted, where a video was recorded, and we think we saw the assailant. We think he was right there on that patch of dirt. We think he might have met up with somebody, a woman perhaps. Conveniently missing. Now, why? Was there more than one person out there and they don't want us to know who that person was? They don't want the defense to know who that person was, so they don't request that information, and then the cell phone towers dump all that information? It's not recoverable now. You're not going to get it now. You didn't ask for it. We'll never know whose cell phone was in that patch of dirt. Was it Tyler Robinson? Was it Lance Twiggs? Was it a woman? We don't know. Was it someone else? We have no idea. You want to know the answer to the question that Candace was fighting with Andrew Wilson about? Was Tyler Robinson a patsy? Things like this make me think yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've long alleged that it looks like, to me, there's a multi-agency cover-up here. Why wouldn't they have asked for that information? You have a woman who is on a video saying, I was right there, I saw him. And we know the police went and searched that area. We have footage, news camera footage of the police searching there. We also have their doorbell cam footage of the police coming up to their doorbell saying, is this where you saw him? Right out here? And they're like, yep, that's it right there. We also have Phil Lyman's video footage of him talking to cops who came to that door, and they were talking about what they saw right outside that door. Why on earth do we not have an affidavit asking for cell phone information from that patch of dirt? It doesn't exist. Instead, we get a request for a street pass or house past Tyler Robinson's car.
Don't make sense.
He's just out there meandering around.
Why would you go past
If you
the
put it
car?
all together, he jumps off the roof, he runs over to the trees, now he's in a...
You just kill somebody and you're getting out of there. Why in the hell would you walk past your car?
construction site. Now he's behind Phil Lyman's aunt house. Now he's down 800, past his car. Then he comes back somehow and wanders back to his car. Did he get lost? All this planning? At least a week, he said. All this planning, and you just take a wrong turn when you're fleeing the scene? No.
Thank you, Tamara.
I don't buy it, not for a second.
Oh, hey, Miss Tamara. I was looking for that email. You never did email me. The real one, pcast@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. I'd like to chat back and forth with you a little bit.
Now, here's where it gets interesting.
No pressure, though.
They requested a fourth location. And that fourth location was the night of September 8th. Between 8 and 8:30. I don't remember the exact times.
I'll see what I can work out, Ruth May.
Go back and look, I guess. They requested a fourth location, and this location was for, no, not that one. Not that one. Ah, there it is. This is September, nope, not that one either. What did I do with it? Oh, here it is. The fourth location was requested between 8:10 and 8:25, a very narrow window. 8:10 and 8:25. You want to know where that request was made? You want to know what they were looking for? The exact same coordinate they were looking for the day of the shooting. It was this location right here. It was the Losi Center. They were asking for cell phone data from the roof of the Losi Center on September 8th, 2 days before Charlie Kirk was taken out. You think they just randomly picked that day? They only gave him 4 locations. They only gave him 4 times. Do you think they were like, well, we know where he was these 3 times on the 10th. Let's just throw in another one, keep him honest. We don't want him to know what we're looking for. All right, Jerry, what are we going to give him? Well, Tim, September 8th. Yeah. Give him September 8th. Ooh, how about sundown when it's dusky? When someone might be able to get on.
We'll start us a chair. We'll start us a chair fund on here.
On the roof and not be super obvious because the campus isn't going to be packed and the sun's not going to be blaring. You're not going to have people wandering up and down the stairs of the Losi Center. Things kind of die down on campus at about 8 o'clock at night. Yeah, let's put that time on there. They'll never see that coming.
They'll never see that coming.
No, we don't expect to see anything there. We have no reports of somebody being on the roof on September 8th, scouting out the event.
And you know we would have heard about this. I mean, all that would do is help prove the fact that Tyler Robinson did what they said he did. If they had proof that he was there a couple days before, scoping the place out, scouting around, I mean, all that does is help the state's case. If that was the case, if he was there on the 8th, we would have known about it by now. I can promise you.
We have no information that that's the case. No, friends. That's not what we're looking for. I got to show you one thing I forgot to put on here. I will get it to you in mere moments. Hold, please. I could send it here, and I can pull it up on my phone. All right.
Yeah, that's right, KTB. Yeah, and what's his name? Paul Valley. I think he's on the board or something to that effect at TPUSA. Yes, ma'am. I know what you're talking about. Oh, did you miss? Huh. Yeah, do that again, please, because I don't know unless either you fat fingered it, but I kept checking my spam folder. It's the real one pcast@gmail.com. Yep. Yeah, do that, please. Thank you.
Pull up something here. You was announced. Everybody takes it for granted that everybody knew he was going to be at the courtyard at that particular location in that particular courtyard on September 10th at noon. Well, that's not the case. In fact, the very first report, now we knew he was coming to UVU as early as August 27th, and they just said the courtyard. Well, there are 2 courtyards. In fact, one gets more use than the other. It's over by the.
And I have brought this up time and time again because Gary Melton loves to talk about how, no, this wasn't last minute. Everybody knew forever. I mean, back in, I think, the end of July or something like that, he talked about how that people knew that it was going to be in that location. And I've said there's more than one courtyard there. Yes, people knew that he was coming to UVU. They also knew that he was going to do the event in a courtyard. But all it said is in a UVU, a Utah Valley University courtyard. Didn't say which, didn't specify which. And if one was to assume the location, most would assume the other courtyard because the other courtyard was actually the most commonly used for events. The one that they actually ended the fountain courtyard was actually used less than the other one.
Bolton Library. The UVU courtyard that Charlie Kirk died in was the lesser used of the 2 courtyards. And it wasn't until this article came out on the UVU Review website that we knew precisely where he was going to be. And this article did not come out until September 9th at 4:31 p.m. Mountain Time. That's when this came out. September 9th at 4:31 p.m. The afternoon, the late afternoon before the September 10th event is where they finally announced it would be the UVU Fountain Courtyard the following day at noon.
That was the day before. But yet, all of this premeditation, Tyler Robinson been planning it for a week. He'd been planning out every detail. Only thing is, he didn't know exactly where it was going to be. So, he couldn't plan on the biggest detail.
Meaning, they don't know where he could have been. I'll go back to this picture here. For all they know, he was going to be in the courtyard over here that's also used, frequently used. This courtyard by the library. This is a frequently used place. It's easy to get to. Look at all that parking. It's a beautiful place to be. This is in the center of campus, a little harder to get to. Also surrounded by tall buildings and in a bowl. But here's the other thing, too. I want you to look at this keyhole you have to get in order to get a glimpse of Charlie Kirk where he's located here. You have to be, if you're going to be on the Losi Center, you have to be in a position where this ledge right here is not blocking you and these trees aren't blocking you. You have a very small window here of about 10 or 15 feet between these trees and this ledge. Both of those would block your view. Now look at this tent up here. Let's say you put Charlie Kirk over here in the corner somewhere. Well, you'd have no kind of view from the Losi Center.
Nope.
None. Let's say you just move the tent off center a little bit. Instead of putting it here, you put it over in the corner over here. Well, you've got no view of Charlie Kirk from the top of the Losi Center. You can't get there. So it's not until they actually put the tent up that morning at 9:20 a.m. that morning when we have photographs of the security team actually telling them where to put the tent.
And just to pound that in, and it might be a dead horse, but I'm going to beat it anyway. Even if he knew that the event was going to be taking place in that particular courtyard a week in advance, he had no idea of knowing exactly where that tent would go, and therefore not knowing that he would even have a line of sight and or a shot. Now, there's a lot to unpack when it comes to the ability to take a shot from the angle he did have. I've got my questions about that, but regardless, even if he had known ahead of time that it would be in that very courtyard, he still had no way of planning ahead, because guess what? That tent didn't necessarily have to go where it went. And it is odd that it got put in a place that did have that line of sight when there's such a tight area, like a little bit this way or a little bit that way, and all of a sudden it has no line of sight. So it's almost like it was specifically set there very carefully to have a line of sight.
Until then, that anyone would have known that you would have a shot from the Losi Center roof. So we're to believe, the official narrative is, Tyler Robinson planned this for at least a week without knowing exactly where he'd be, just at UVU campus somewhere in a courtyard. And on September 8th, somebody, I think we can infer, was seen on the top of the Losi Center roof. That's why they're looking for that location data. I mean, there's no other explanation.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody on September 8th is seen on the top of the Losi Center roof, but there's no allegation Tyler Robinson was there on September 8th.
No, and again, I believe, they've had the cell phone data. I do believe if it was confirmed it was Tyler Robinson, we would have heard about it a long time before now.
Not heard any. I'd love to know where he was. If anyone knows where Tyler Robinson was, my email is realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Please, by all means. This is now becoming an important part of the story. Where was Tyler Robinson at 8 p.m. on September 8th? Keep in mind, in order to get to UVU, he would have to drive 4 hours from St. George, Utah, which means to get on the roof by 8:10, he has to leave his house by like 4 p.m. And then he gets off the roof no later than 8:25. That's assuming all he did was drive directly to UVU, park right next to the Losi Center roof, scamper up the stairs, think, that's got to be where he's going to be. Right there. Spend only 15 minutes up there, run off the roof, and fly back home to get home by 12:30 in the morning. 8-hour round trip to spend 15 minutes on campus? That's your plan? That's your plan? No, I don't buy it. That doesn't make sense.
Sorry, guys, I'm bringing him right back.
A lot of hills, terraces. Some roofs go out onto some roofs go out and become walkways at the next building down. I mean, it's built on like the side of a mountain. It doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. The more you dig into the story, the less sense it makes that a random 22-year-old gay kid in St. George is like assaulting Google Earth to try to see where could he possibly be, and if he's here, where am I going to be? And if he's here, where am I going to be? And if he's here, where am I going to be? And then before they even announce where he's going to be, I'm going to go ahead up there and just assume he's going to be here. Then I'm going to assume I'll have a clear angle of him, and they're not going to put him over in the corner, and they're not going to put him up on the second ledge.
It's an awful lot of assuming.
They're not going to put a speaker directly in front of him that'll be blocking me. Like, you know how many variables this guy had to consider if he did this alone?
No.
And there was no help, and he had no. He had to just guess before it was even announced he would be there so that he would just happen to show up at the exact right time. And again, having never been on the, there's no allegation that I'm aware of that he had ever been on the Lucy Center roof if that wasn't him on September 8th. How did he know he could even get up there? How did he know it wouldn't be blocked off? How did he know there wouldn't be a cop up there? How did he know there wouldn't be, how did he know the gravel
Funny thing is, there was a cop sitting directly across from him, looking right at him.
was stable enough to run on? How did he know that you could even see over the ledge and get a clean shot down there? How do you know they weren't going to put a speaker or some sort of, the tent wouldn't be blocking him? I mean, how would you know all that? If you follow Charlie Kirk at all, you know he always sits in a tent. This guy's like 70, 80, 90 feet above Charlie Kirk, looking down at a 9-degree angle. How do you know you're going to be able to get a clean shot? And you're not going to be shooting through a blind tent? I want to know where Tyler Robinson was on September 8th. And if Tyler Robinson was not at home, I mean, if he was at home, I want to know why they requested that information. Who was on the roof that made them suspicious? Who did they figure out that was? It just doesn't add up to me. It doesn't make sense. This isn't a story you could sell a jury. I'm sorry, it's just not. The jury's going to ask the same questions I'm asking. The defense is going to ask the same questions. Now, I want one more thing on this cell phone. We have one more warrant. They did a cell phone of Tyler Robinson's cell phone. And on this cell phone extraction, they say that the charger was parked in front of the Noble house where the Ring doorbell came. You remember the fuzzy Ring doorbell camera footage that was at night? And you could hear the door open and close, and you could kind of make out that there was a figure getting in and out of the car, and you could see the lights flash, and there were crickets making all kinds of noise. I'm not going to play the footage, but it came from a home. The Nobles live there. Great family. Nothing wrong with them. They're superb human beings, as far as I know. They turn this over to the police. The police get a hold of this footage, and they review it. And they say, hey, that does look like a Dodge Challenger.
That's right,
Might be our
Rick.
guy. So they go get a warrant. And the warrant is for cell phone information from Tyler's cell phone. And in the affidavit of the warrant, they give a time period where he was sitting in that location. That time period that they gave in the warrant is important. I'm going to show you that right now. It's on page 6 here. I'll blow it up a little bit so you can see it. Tell me if you see anything in this affidavit here that sticks out to you as not consistent with what we've already heard. Again, this is a newly discovered warrant here. Through continued investigation, a gray Dodge Challenger with the Utah plate black, black, black was found to be co-registered to Tyler Robinson on 9/12. That's the morning after Tyler Robinson was arrested. It was seen at his parents' residence, and they gave an address there. Search through a license plate reader reveals that on 9/11, the vehicle was in Cedar City, Utah. So apparently they do have license plate readers that have picked him up along the way. Why don't we have all that information? Why don't we know?
Guys, I'm going off camera for just a second. I'm right here.
Following the shooting, detectives canvassed homes for video footage. Investigated surveillance camera footage dated 9/11. So this is after midnight. Charlie was shot at noon, or taken down at noon on September 10th. After midnight on 9/11, the video footage depicted a vehicle matching the description of a Dodge Challenger. Look at the times. The footage showed the vehicle park at approximately 0:23 hours and remain there until approximately 01:20 hours. 0:23, that's 12:23 a.m. The video footage showed it was there at 12:23 a.m. and remained there until 1:20. Why is that important? Why is this newly discovered bombshell, in my opinion? Well, let's go hear from the creepy looking, well, I shouldn't say can't help. Well, I kind of can. It's his haircut. The creepy appearing, the creepy acting, maybe, Agent Hull. And let's find out if 12:23 a.m. makes sense.
A Ring doorbell video that was provided that showed a vehicle consistent with the one we had identified as belonging to Mr. Robinson, parking in front of the residence across the street.
Okay. And what can you tell us about the timing and the timing of that parked vehicle?
If I recall, that vehicle parked approximately 0:38 hours on the morning of the 11th.
Okay. So 0:38 hours, what time is that to regular people?
Just after midnight.
At 12:38 a.m.?
In the morning, yes.
Okay.
So he puts the car there at 12:38. 12:23 on the search warrant. 12:38 according to Officer Hull. Well, do we have a different time? Well, we know that the Ring doorbell footage was clipped in a way that we can't see the timestamps. This is a little weird. If we go look at it, you cannot see the timestamps. This is a recurring theme in this case. Footage is getting weirded out on us.
Well, let's go ahead and play it.
Is there any sound associated with this?
There is, Judge, but it's night sounds. It's crickets chirping and
It's
I
all
just wanted to
there's-
see if
what's
there was.
that?
I just wanted to see if
There's
there was
nothing
sound or
violent.
not. Okay.
I'm not going to play the whole footage, but trust me, there's no timestamp. I just want to show you that. My cameras have timestamps. I don't know. Maybe all cameras don't have timestamps, but mine have timestamps. And most cameras I've seen have timestamps. Those timestamps don't have timestamps.
You should not be able to submit video or picture into evidence, in my opinion, that does not have a timestamp.
Well, what's the problem? What do you care? What do you care if it's 12:23 or if it's 12:38? What's 15 minutes among friends, right? Well, turns out it matters. Why does it matter? Because we have a gray Dodge Challenger that they're going to tell us is Tyler Robinson. And if you look at the timestamp here at the bottom, this is in universal time. You have to subtract 6 hours.
What's up, Russian? Good to see you. You have to go back it up. Make sure you watch it from the beginning when we get done.
From this timestamp down here. This is 12:36 a.m. 12:36 and 2 seconds a.m. If he's parked in front of the residence at 12:23, it's going to be really inconvenient for him to be driving around town at 12:36.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real problem there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real problem.
This is the intersection of Campus Drive and 800 South. There's a vehicle attempting to turn right onto Campus Drive. That's the vehicle that's driven by Mr. Robinson.
And on the screen, where is that vehicle that you're referring to located? If you broke it into quadrants.
It's on the left side, on the upper side, the upper quadrant.
Now what do we see?
That vehicle's now pulling away and heading east on 800 South.
So at 12:36 a.m. and 30-something seconds, he's still rolling around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he can't be rolling around if he's parked in front of the Noble's house at 12:23. Let's just be honest. We don't know when this footage was discovered, but can imagine the problem you would have if you filled out a search affidavit and you compared the timestamps from the camera footage and you looked and you said, oh, it's 12:23, got it. Well, 12:23, so we write that in there. And then later they uncover, well, we also have him on traffic camera. Wow, what fortune. He's all over the place. And then you look at that and go, oh, no, that's 13 minutes after we have him at the Noble's house. Well, that's not going to work. We're going to have to reconcile these two times. I am very curious. Where did they get this time that went into the search warrant? Now, it's possible search warrants aren't precise. It's possible they just didn't know the time, or they had heard the time from somebody. It was hearsay, and they got the number wrong. I don't know.
Trina, Greg's still around. He's just had a ton going on, but yeah, me and him are going to do another live stream. We may do one this Friday, but we'll be doing another one here pretty soon.
But it's worth noting because if you go to other search warrants, we have 12:23 as a time. We have 12:38 as a time. 12:23 from one search warrant. We have 12:38, 15 minutes later. That came from Officer Hull. And now we have yet a third time that shows up out of nowhere. This is a different search warrant we've already looked at in the past. The vehicle initially parked at 12:47 a.m. on September 11th and left at...
And it's not even about the amounts of time. I mean, it is, but that's not the only thing. Just the fact that they can't get their shit straight, to me, is a big thing. Whether the jury thinks those discrepancies would cause an issue in the timeline or not, to me, they should just reject that completely. Just for the simple fact of they can't get their shit straight. Their stories don't match up. They don't line up all these different times. It's not that hard.
At 1:35 a.m. on September 11th. Guys, we're now at a 24-minute gap. I don't believe that we just don't know what time he rolled in there.
Nope, me neither. Guys, I'm fixing to have to go get my sweat on. It's time to go do my real job. I know it sucks. I could sit here all day, but we're going to have to, I'm going to have to cut it here. We will be back in the morning, be watching for the thumbnail. I've been going back and forth between Candace and Stu Peters. It'll be one of the two. We may just go ahead and do Stu in the morning, but either way, keep an eye out for that. Of course, 8 a.m. Central Time. We will, I'll definitely be here unless something catastrophic happens. But anyway, before I get out of here, though, before everybody runs off, figured I'd play a little number for y'all. Friend of the show.
and they call it breaking news. Dress it up in shiny teeth so you don't question what they do. They say here comes the truth with a spoon behind their back. Same old BS story, same candy-coated trap. Eat a little more fed slop. Tell yourself it's real. Swallow every headline. Forget the way you feel. Eat a little more fed slop. Let it rot your point of view. The more they fill your head up, the less it sounds like you. They got actors in the kitchen reading lines off of a plate, serving fear for breakfast and confusion by 8. You can taste the contradiction, but you still ask for more, like a dog at the table begging crumbs from the floor. Eat a little more fed slop. Tell yourself it's real. Swallow every headline. Forget the way you feel. Eat a little more fed slop. Let it rot your point of view. The more they fill your head up, the less it sounds like you.
Yeehaw! I tell you what, she does such good stuff. It is, I really, I know her and Mark personally, and they are really good people. Always enjoy their stuff. Yeah, so, Baby J, if I've seen you talking about your podcast, so look, I'm small, I'm new, and all that good stuff. But if you need any help with anything or what have you, or if you need a first guest to come on the show or whatever, shoot me an email. And yeah, like I said, I'll help you out any way I can. There have been a few people along the way that have done that for me, and yeah, made a big difference. So yeah, you need anything or got any questions or need some help with something, like I said, give me a shout. My email's going across the top. It's the real one pcast@gmail.com. And then real quick, let's see what we got. We had Gary as a new member. Welcome again, Gary. Thank you very much. And the same with Basic. Thank you very much, Basic. Y'all make sure y'all go back and watch the members lives that we've got, especially that one last week. I really enjoyed doing that one. Or I'm sorry, not last week, Monday this week. Really good one there, I thought. Anyway, Keza was going to get a membership, but man, I know exactly what you mean there. It is no issues here. I really appreciate the support in every way. Very generous, and yeah, look, those memberships ain't going anywhere, so you can grab you one of them sometime. And of course, may get a free one also. I don't know if you've gotten a gifted one yet or not, but anyway, I really appreciate it, Keza. Pam Armstrong, 10 jewels. Thank you very much, Pam Armstrong, for the 10 jewels. I really appreciate that. And we got Basic. If the Rode mic didn't blow up, where is it? I know they could just produce one that isn't the original, but still they haven't. So where is it? I've asked that question myself over and over and over again. Yeah, kind of odd. Kind of odd. Yeah, who knows? I think that it was disposed of on the ride there. I mean, good chance that when they were saying on the in the background on that 911 call, get that thing off of him, that's exactly what they were talking about. So I'd say it's hanging out somewhere with the Freedom shirt and, with all those other items that we were talking about. So Matthew, thank you very much. $5 super chat to help with the bill, and thank you for your time. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you, Matthew. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat. And we got Brett Booth, also known as the Man. What's up, buddy? Hey, Adam and all, please keep our friend Mystic Gypsy in your prayers as she is recovering in the hospital from an illness. I will keep Adam and all updated on her status. God bless. Thank you very much, Brett. Thank you very much. And please do that. Yeah, and let her know that that we're all thinking about her. And yeah, I hate that. I know she's not been in really good health, for a while now, but obviously something has changed for the worse. So anyway, prayers there. Hopefully she'll be right back in the mix before too much longer. So Beck B snuck in there. That 10 Jules. Thank you very much, Beck B. Awesome. And just remember, everybody that was going to send me emails, to send the emails, and then we'll talk about whether I got them or not next time. But I usually get them. I don't know. Hopefully somebody just fat fingered something. But anyway, guys, going to work, gonna go sweat. Love everybody, and plan on seeing each and every one of y'all back here real soon. Thank y'all.
When the facts get twisted and the